Hi everybody, I'm here in my van, my messy bed that I never make up, and I'm going to show you today how to install what's called Shore Power in your converted van setup. And what Shore Power is it's a hookup that allows you to, like if you're at an RV park or even parked at a friend's house, it allows you to feed off of that power source instead of using your solar power off-grid system. So I did self-install an off-grid solar power system. I'll quickly go through what those things are. But if you have the opportunity to channel power to power your devices from somewhere else, again called Shore Power, it's great to have that option set up in your van as well. Okay, here's our electrical system. It's all over here. As you can see, it's all kind of wired down there at the bottom. All the wires. I'm sure someone will comment that I need to organize my wires. I totally agree, but I'm not done working over here yet, so it's just easy to keep it out. We've got the inverter. I've got two 12-volt batteries down there, you can see. We have our charge controller, fuse box, and these are all powered by our beautiful, glorious sun. Okay, so I showed you just really quickly the setup that we have for our solar off-grid system, but I'm going to go to the beach this weekend, and the place I'm going has Shore Power, so I'm going to install a Shore Power hookup so I can use their power versus my solar. And this is good because it's actually supposed to rain this weekend, so I may not be able to charge my off-grid batteries as quickly as I would with when it generally is super sunny here in California, as you can see. So I'm going to use the Shore Power this weekend and do this hookup. So let me tell you what you need to do that, and I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to need an outlet for Shore Power. I'm using a 30 amp, 125 volt grounded outlet. This is going to go on the outside of the van, and this is what it looks like. And then I'm using, for the inside, I'm going to use a 20 amp, 120 volt GFCI outlet. See if you can see that. It's really sunny here today in California, so we got some glare, but I love the sun, so I'm like right in it and loving it. Here's what the outlet looks like. So this is what you would typically find in your house, and I'm choosing this one just because it's got the reset button. If there's an electrical spike, it'll turn the outlet off versus starting a potential electrical fire. And because I spend a lot of time in here with my daughter, I want to make sure it's safe. I will tell you that these outlets are incrementally more expensive than the regular ones. This one I got at Home Depot for like $17 versus like a $3 normal outlet without the shutoff. But again, safety's more important to me than money, so that's what I chose to use. And then I have an outlet box that's going to go in the inside for the wiring. And then for the wiring, I have just some copper building wire, and this is what it looks like. And it's actually got a copper grounded wire, a white one, and a black one. So where I'm going to try to place this is here's our little potty box that I had shown you that also serves as a seat and a little table sometimes. And then here's the bed with the outlets. So over here, what I have already installed to the solar power is a 3 outlet, like a 12 volt outlet. So I plug some things in here. And then I have a power strip which is connected to the inverter. And so what I'm going to try to do is put this outlet like about right here and just keep all the electrical stuff in one general vicinity. So what that means is that I'm going to have to go to the outside of the van and drill a hole into the van through the wall so I can come out back this other side. And again, what's going to happen is my actual shore power outlet is going to go on the outside. So let's give it a try. Okay, so what I did is I came out to the outside of the van and I just sort of kind of marked with tape where I want that to go that corresponds to the other side. Just for some of you are wondering, like, what's up with the gas tank. These vans used to have dual gas tanks for long hauls, but this one, the second one is like, it's not there anymore. So don't worry, I'm not drilling into like a gas tank or anything. That's just like a little blank spot. The real gas tank is back there. Okay, so I just kind of taped it off. This helps with some of the sharp metal shards and things. And I'm going to try to place it about right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, first of all, I'm going to, I need a hole that is as big as this hole right here. This is 2.75 inches, or I think it's like, what, 70 or 77 millimeters in any event. That's as big as the hole I need. So I actually have a drill bit that is that size. Oh, 70 millimeters. There we go. That's what it is. And but to start it off, I'm going to drill like a smaller hole in there, and I have my safety goggles on, safety first. And so I'm going to drill a hole right here and then try to get that bigger one in there, and let's see how we do. Okay, so I was able to just drill super easily, just a small starter hole there with a special metal drill bit. So now I'm going to take my big heavy duty one and see if I can, let's see if I can get a big, this is going to be really loud and kind of gnarly, but let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. Oops, my drill bit's not on right. Okay, I had to get my situation resituated. But anyway, here we're good to go. I actually had to drill a little bit larger starter hole as well. And I had to get my drill bit on correctly. So let's try this again. Here we go. Okay, so I was able to pretty easily drill a hole on the outside, as you can see, and then there's actually like a second layer of metal there, and I can see one of my screws is there from the inside of the paneling. So I'm going to do now, there's the hole. I'm actually pretty impressed. It's a pretty clean drilled hole. I don't have sleeves on. I would recommend when you're drilling in metal to put sleeves on, because there was a few like metal shards, I don't know if you can see them, that sort of popped up and were flying all over the place. So just be super careful when you're drilling with metal, because those little pieces are really sharp. So anyway, I've got my hole. That is the size that's going to go in here like this. So now all I need to do is go and find the other corresponding side here and drill a hole through that. Okay, I'm back in the inside of the van, and what I'm going to do, because I don't want to just go like randomly drilling holes around here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where I want my outlet to go. I think I'm going to put it right here, and then I'm going to drill a hole from this side in and see where the light pops out on the outside. That way I have a better sense of like actually where I need to pull wire through. And I don't need to drill a big hole through the second layer of metal, because all I need to do is I just need a hole big enough to get that wire to pull through. So it doesn't need to be, you know, as big as the hole I drilled outside. So I think I'm going to place this right here and then drill a little starter hole and just kind of see where my placement is. I want to show you what I did. So I drilled a hole on the inside where I thought I was like corresponding to here, and it turns out it was here. So I've drilled a hole in my van. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just move the I'm going to move this hole here. So now I'm going to do a hole cover up here. So, or let's see, this is probably a smaller hole to cover up. I think I'm going to have to like just cover this hole up and then try to figure out a way to get the wires through the other side, which I started to drill in there already. So always an adventure. So maybe I'll do a video on covering up a hole, a mistaken hole. Awesome. Okay, so I'm back here inside the van, and here's actually where the corresponding hole is. So I was off. So now what's going to go here to cover this up is, I don't know, like something decorative. Maybe that'll be like a hook for something. Anyway, so lessons learned, but that's fine, because I can just put my outlet right here and that'll work. Okay, and that's probably better out of the way anyway. So, anywho, yay. So, let's do a little hole patch. Yeah, let's do a little hole patch on the outside so I don't get water in the van from that mistakenly drilled hole that I drilled on through the van all the way to the outside. Yeah. All right. Okay, so if you're doing stuff like this, it's always really good to have some good exterior sealant. So I'm going to try to fill this hole basically. Oh, hey. Oh, Lord. I'm going crazy with this. All right. Okay. So I'm going to pack that really well. I got my glove on because I just got a fresh manicure. All right. Okay. And I'm not worried about aesthetics necessarily, because I can always put a little spray paint over this. I'm really most concerned about making sure that hole is filled. Okay, so I'm going to leave that a little bulky like that, and then I can just kind of like sand it down a little bit. But again, I want to really make sure that's covered, and then I'll get something to clean off that part. Okay, so while that's drying, I will work on the inside. I just erased that mark that I had made, put the insulation back over it, and then I'm going to try to go over it with some of this putty to seal that little hole. If it doesn't work, that's fine. I can just put something over it. And then for that hole, I'm actually going to drill it. I have a drill bit here. I'm going to make the hole, that I actually can use. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, just so that my wires can slide through. And so that hole's a little bit small for that. All right, I filled up that hole. It's not pretty, but I can sand it down. I'm pretty sure this isn't what that substance is supposed to be used for, but whatever. And then I drilled a bigger hole through here. So there we go. You can see. Now I'm going to go and eat some pizza because I'm exhausted from my whole gaff here while I let this putty dry and the one on the outside before I start tackling the rest of this. I feel like I've earned some pizza, so I'm going to come back to this. Okay, so I had some pizza, feeling better. I'm good to go. So now I'm going to work on the wiring for the outside outlet. And the way it works is you have 3 inlets here for the white wire, green is for the ground wire, and then the black. Okay, so the way it works with your wire is it comes coated like this, and you're just going to want to very carefully splice some of that outside coating to expose the actual wires. And you're going to have one that's bare or like copper wire that's covered in white, and then black. And so each of these are going to go to the corresponding holes. So for example, this one's for white, And I'm going to find my screwdriver. Let's see, where did I put it? Okay, this will work. All right, so I'm just going to go, there's a little screw here. I'm going to loosen it. And then I'm going to take, my white wire. Also, I'm sorry, these don't come stripped. So what you want to do is get some wire strippers or cutters and cut that little plastic coating off of the side, off of this outsides of it, and then strip it out so that you're exposed the actual copper wire. And that's what you're going to use to catch inside here. So I'm going to place that in the hole. And then I'm going to tighten it. And you want to make sure you tighten this really well, because this is where you want to be careful that it doesn't, oop, that didn't do. I didn't catch. I don't think I had it loosened enough. Let me try it again. Okay. I'm going to stick that in there. Let's see if that works. Oh, there we go. It wasn't in all the way. Okay. All right. Nope, still not in. Okay, there we go. I just needed to do that at a different angle. So that's in there, nice and secure. It's good to give a good hand tightening on it to make sure it's not going anywhere, because when the electrical current comes through here, it vibrates a little bit. You don't want that vibrating loose. This is how fires start, if it vibrates loose and then it sparks something. So you want to make sure that's down tight really well. But also, you know, we have this outlet that will trip if something like that happens. But nevertheless, we don't want to push it. And then same thing here, my copper, that's the grounding. The grounded wire is going to go in the green. I like to think of green for grounded. So that's where my grounded wire is going to go. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push it all the way in there. There we go. Make sure it's in there. And then tighten it. Oh, I think this is just a bad angle. Let me do these at a different angle where I can see better, and then I'll show you what it looks like, the end result. All right, I got that all figured out. Part of my problem was that I was trying to tighten it, turning it to the left because it's late and I'm tired, and I forgot that it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So anyway, we got that all sorted. So I've got my white into the white, black into the black, and the copper grounded into the green. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this onto the outside, pull the wire through, and then do the inside wiring. Okay, I didn't record it because I needed two hands, but I have attached the outside outlet to the hole that I drilled in the van. The oopsie hole is filled in nicely, so I'll just sand that at some point. And what I did is I used, I pre-drilled holes in the van where the screws are going so that my screws would go through, and I also put silicone sealant. It has a sealant, a sealer, a little black, you can see it here, something to seal it here already, but I've just put some silicone to make sure that no water got in. So that's my outside attachment. There we go. And now I'll start working on the inside wiring. Okay, I've run my wires through the hole there. Run them through my little outlet box here, my little box, just to that's going to protect it. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the wires to my outlet. And then once I do that, well, I probably should have cut a hole for the box beforehand, but I didn't. So I'll do that after the fact. Okay, you guys. So I went to drill my hole for my box, and I forgot there's like there's this metal behind here, and I'm pretty over trying to cut through metal, especially since I broke my last metal saw piece. So what I did is I got this little box. It's gonna sit on the outside of that, which is a better choice anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna punch this out. It's got a little punch out here in the back. Run this wire through it, screw it to the wall, and then attach my wires to my outlet. And hopefully I should be good to go. So wish me luck. Okay, so I've got my wires attached. I've got the white here where it was labeled white. The black goes to the other one, or the hot wire. And my grounding wire is, let's see if you can see that a little bit better, is attached here. And now I'm just going to attach my outlet to my box, and then put a cover on it and test it and see if it works. Okay, there we go. So we're all wired up. We've got the box in there, there's my outlet, and I've got a cover, just a little cover over it. So what this will allow me to do is to connect to shore power, if available, instead of using my solar power and my battery from my solar power. I can save that and run off of the shore electricity and plug stuff in and go.